PTA Global community. It's my sincere pleasure to be with you today on this Up Close and Personal. And the topic for this series is going to be the power of play. And it's our great fortune to have Frank Forencich, the Chief Creative Officer, which, by the way, I love that title, Frank, of Exuberant Animal. If you would be so kind is to give us a little bit of background as to who you are and what you do.
Sure, I'd be happy to. My physical journey began, I played water polo in high school, but I really got involved in the physical arts when I started studying martial arts. And that was a really exciting journey for me because at the same time I was studying human biology at college level, and I became interested in the history of the body. I went to Africa a few times to study human origins, and I became quite involved with my training, looking at different ways to maximize performance of the body. But throughout all of that, throughout my training in martial arts, I became really curious about how good it felt to play with other people. And that had a really sustaining power for me because the sweat was good and the training was good. All of that was great. But there was something about sparring with other people, playing with other people that was just fantastic.
So, Frank, now that we have that, what is play?
This is a trick question, and I get it quite often because play, especially for humans, especially for people, is difficult to define because it's subjective and it's personal. Every person is going to have a different experience of play, a different sense of what play is. So even though play is a human universal, everybody plays, all mammals play, it's still difficult to define, but ultimately play is about movement and relationship. So even though it looks different for different people, and people play not just with gross body movements, big body movements, but we also play with ideas, we play with language, we play with fantasy. All of these things can be play, but they're always about movement. And what I think is really exciting here, that we as trainers, we work with movement all the time. So we are ready to do this. We are primed, since we are movement specialists, to take advantage of play. And even though it's difficult to define, if we think more in terms of movement in general, then our horizons, our ideas tend to expand, and we can access more creativity that way.
That's excellent. That's actually a really good definition. And I know, at PTA Global, that's a massive component of what we do and what we inbreed into our, what we call playouts versus a workout, because of the movement factor. And so I appreciate that. And I hope that the community understands that when we talk about play and fun, sometimes that scares trainers and that scares people because they don't know what that looks like. And it's like you can't have fun if you're working out because you got to sweat. But at the same time, if we understand that it's movement, you can make movement fun. It's about the interaction. So that was actually really fantastic. That was something I appreciate. So with that being said, Frank, and because trainers now have a new kind of take on play being movement, why do we need play?
Well, the benefits are huge, and the most obvious benefits are just simple health and fitness benefits that we would get from any sort of exercise program, because when you play vigorously, you get the bounce, you get the vigorous movement, and that has all the conventional benefits to the body. But beyond that, we get some really distinct neurological benefits. And this includes neurotrophic factors in the brain that are secreted when we play, especially when we play in positive social environments. There's something about that tends to turn on these neurotrophic factors in the brain. So what we get is more branching, more dendritic branching of neurons in the brain when we play. And this has been proven in experiments with non-human animals. So the neurological benefits are huge. Something about adventure and risk and discovery, exploration, all of these things tend to turn on the nervous system in new ways. And this is really powerful because one of the challenges for health and fitness for a lot of people is rearranging habits. We all tend to fall into habits, and one of the purposes of a trainer is to help people bust out of old habits and to create new ones. So this is where play can really be powerful, is we explore the edges, we explore new boundaries of things, and rearrange our lives and our body movements into new combinations. That's where play becomes really powerful. And finally, the social dimension is huge, and we have yet to really exploit this. There's something about play with other people that tends to clarify our relationships with one another and make social life a lot easier. It promotes team performance, team cohesion, and this is something that we as trainers, as movement specialists, can really put people out in these social play environments that helps not just our bodies, but our social lives as well.
I like that, Frank, because you touched on those three factors are really important. It almost makes the trainer's job, which is something, again, at PTA Global that we've been trying to discuss and enlighten. It's like a tour guide. When you talk about the exploration, you're a tour guide. You're the guide by the side, not the sage on the stage. Is you should be guiding these people and helping them, which is what creates the interactivity. I really appreciate that. Now, you said something about positive social environment. When people are playing or interacting in this positive social environment, can you expand that a little bit, or kind of let us know what is a positive social environment, or what could we expect to see in a positive social environment?
There's what I call the safe emergency. And this is a concept that I use, I borrowed from different realms of therapy and whatnot, where we put people into a setting where we challenge them. We need to challenge them. Anytime you're looking for a transformation, there's got to be a challenge. And this would be in therapy, or it would be with the body. There's got to be stress. There's got to be a challenge. And we're really good at that. And as trainers, we're really good at applying the challenge. But it's also got to be an environment that's supportive and safe. So we have to be explicit in giving people permission to explore and to fail, to create errors, to try new things. All of this stuff, if we're explicit about that, then we help create the safe emergency. It's a nice oxymoron that brings two things into it simultaneously. People come in and they know they're going to be challenged, but they're going to be supported too. That's the look and feel that we try to create at Exuberant Animal.
That's like meeting the client where they need to be met in order to get them where they want to go.
Right.
That's really good.
Nice. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Frank, if someone wants more information about you and or Exuberant Animal, where can they go? What can they get? What kind of things do you have to offer? Websites and products and things. Give us a little bit of information about that, so we can tell our community and they can expose this great information and get more of it.
Right. Well, that's very easy, because you just go to exuberantanimal.com and that will explain everything. We have a few books that you can buy. We have a new video that's out. And we also have a trainer program that is designed for movement practitioners, movement specialists, whether they be personal trainers or PE teachers, dance teachers, martial artists. And this is based on attendance at different Exuberant Animal training events, where you can earn a designation as an Exuberant Animal trainer and then go out and teach this play-based method to your clients and your community. So we have a nice progression all laid out, and you can find out everything at the website.
Frank, on behalf of PTA Global and our community, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the tidbits, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you here and there sooner or later. So thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.